Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? It is your girl, your diva and knowledge, Lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Cafe de Patterns, where I'm always serving you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. Good morning. Hope everybody's week is going good thus far. It is finally Friday, so I made it through the week. Unfortunately, I got to go into work tonight. What's up, King Ba? Jay Shine. Blessings to everybody entering the chat room. Moving right along on today's menu, today's topic, talking about a black woman who was unfortunately assassinated fatally from another black woman. Execution style in New York City. Brooklyn mother's whose daughter was gone down in brazen execution style. Shooting in the middle of the street house told the killer very angry but doesn't hate her. Delia Berry's daughter, Delia Johnson, 42, was killed when the female shooter got out of her car with the gun behind her back, casually walked up to her and shot her in the back of the head from point blank range on August 4th. After a candlelight vigil on Friday, Berry looked directly into the camera during an interview with Bronx News 12 and spoke to her daughter's killer. Very angry. And no, young lady, I don't hate you, she said. I'm going to continue to pray for you and your family. The family set up a GoFundMe to raise money for Johnson's funeral. The incident was caught on a surveillance camera and shared by the New York Police Department Crime Stoppers. The NYPD told dailymail.com Saturday afternoon that there was still no arrest, but there's a person of interest. There is a motive, but it is still unknown at this point. The victim's family says they believe they know Johnson's assassin as a family friend, and the 42-year-old mother of a teenager was lured to her death by a phone call. I know her, Berry said when she saw the camera of her daughter getting killed execution style. Oh my God. Oh my God. She used to stay with us. She slept in my bed, ate my food. She was one of my babies too, Berry said. Johnson was talking to a group of people in Crown Heights at around 9:40 p.m. on August 4th when a blonde woman dressed in all black walked up to her from behind and shot her in the back of the head. Johnson is seen on the video collapsing to the ground in front of horrified onlookers as her killer calmly makes her way toward a parked white car, gets in the driver's seat, and takes off from the scene. One of Johnson's young sisters, Hadia Penley, called the suspect a family friend who came to our family events, celebrations, holidays, whatever you want to call it, she came. Berry reportedly noted to PX11 that the suspect and Johnson had a tumultuous friendship in recent weeks in which they would argue about everything. She now says she wants to know why the suspect, who has not been named, would murder her daughter. Why did you slaughter her like that? She asked. I just want to know why. What could she have done to you that you couldn't come and knock on my door and tell me? I would have straightened it out for both of y'all. You are hurting families, Berry said to the Post. I'm in so much pain, I don't know what to do. She was my baby, Berry said, adding, this person that shot my daughter, may God have mercy on my family because we put curses on ourselves when we do things. Very, very interesting. Mathis Johnson, Delia's brother, said that his sister had attended a funeral for an old friend earlier that day. The service drew hundreds of mourners And Mathis claims that the suspected killer was also there. Mathis said he saw the black-clad woman with long blonde hair at the City Corner funeral home about a few blocks away. Johnson was reportedly talking to some friends afterwards when she received a phone call. She said, "I'll be right back." Longtime friend Sean Johnson, 43, told the New York Post 20 minutes later, "Somebody called me and told me she got shot. I thought they were lying. I was just standing there with her." Another of Johnson's sisters, Kadia Berry, told the Post she was looking for a parking space when she saw an ambulance passing that night, not realizing it was for her sister. "I ran down the street trying to get to her. By the time I got to her, they took her," Kadia recounted, claiming she knew my heart. She knew in my heart that somebody called her and knew what it was and set my sister up. Nobody can tell me otherwise. My sister didn't deserve that at all. Delia's family members say she was an entrepreneur who was raising her 17-year-old daughter. Her mother also described her as the firstborn who excelled in piano and top dancer that took care of her before she became mentally ill. I will never forget when I was in so much pain, how she was there for me. So nevertheless, y'all, as y'all can see, this is a very, very tragic situation. And this is one of those things that's why I'm very, very mindful of who I, decide to be close to. I'm very selective about who I choose as a friend. And what's up, El Cool J? Yeah, it's very interesting how it resorted to this point where another black woman who killed another black woman execution style. We don't know the motives as of yet, but something something really deep was going on between the both of them. But I'm gonna let y'all also know this. Shit ain't got to be deep for people to take stuff to the extreme. I'm a living witness. I have had my share with grimy ass females, who I had friends who I was in friendship with. And to be honest with you, you really don't have to do anything really extreme to take people to a level of no point of return. It could be something as simple as, you got something that they want. It could be something as simple as, you got to a different place, you leveled up, and they thought they was going to be able to ride with you now that you leveling up, and maybe you have decided now that you've gotten to a different place, a better place in life, you don't want to strangle them along for the ride. It's a lot of petty reasons people can hate on you. You really don't have to do anything really extreme. What's up, Delia? Kai, blessings to you. You really don't have to do nothing extreme to people these days. A lot of times when we hear situations like this, we think maybe it was a drug deal going bad, or maybe she was messing with somebody's man. We're thinking it's something extreme, but I'm a living witness. I have had my share, like I said, of grimy ass females who I thought was friends, and all it took was one little misunderstanding. All it took was a simple miscommunication, and I've seen a person's true colors reflect. And they blew it way out of proportion, because contrary to what many may think, you have somebody already sitting up here who's already hating on you. And they're just waiting for the opportunity. What's up, Tom Malone? They're just waiting for the opportunity. They waiting for you to slip. They waiting for you to disappoint them. That way they can strike like a snake at any given moment. So the reason I thought it was imperative that I talked about this content, because Black women, we can be each other's worst enemy. While we're always looking on the outside, we're always talking about how Black men do us in. We talk about how white women do us in. We talk about how white men do us in. And the truth of the matter is, Black women do other Black women in. This is nothing new under the sun. A Black woman has no problem destroying another Black woman. She's just waiting for the opportunity to present itself. Now, keep in mind, this lady who was murdered and killed execution style by another Black woman. This woman was a friend of the family. The victim's mother said this woman used to spend the night at their house. She used to eat at their house. She was at family events. This wasn't no typical broad, off the street who she just ran into. This woman was very close to her. What's up, Arab Black? This woman was very close to her. Very close. They were friends. I'm telling you. A lot of times while you looking and worrying about watching your back and you're worrying about outsiders, 9 times out of 10, it's not always the outsiders. It's the ones who you eat and sleep with, the one you break bread with, the one you share your secrets to, the ones who you got close to your family. They are more of a threat to you compared to a stranger or enemy. At least when you have an enemy, y'all already know where y'all stand with each other. Your enemy is not going to affiliate with you. Your enemy not going to try to get close to you. Most situations like this, it wasn't an enemy. It was always a friend. Yeah, they're not releasing her name right now. Jay Shine, everybody's kind of pissed off about that as to why they're not releasing her name. I'm assuming maybe they're not releasing her name because they don't want her, fleeing, trying to escape, before they can apprehend her. But yeah, a lot of people, what's up, Bucket 88? A lot of people are pretty pissed off about that, but it's eventually going to come to the light. It's just a process. You have these investigators. They do things for a reason, maybe some type of strategy behind it. And again, they probably want to make sure they confirm that it is the person who they say who they believe it is, before they just go calling her out. I guess they got to make sure they have solid evidence. But the victim's family has already confirmed they know it's her. They already know, and you know what I mean? And you know that when your daughter, your son got certain friends that come around all the time, they friends, you know what I'm saying? Especially if they've been in the family. Yep, frenemies. Y'all said the key word. Definitely frenemies. These are the ones you got to worry about. They don't want to release her name, but they got no problem dropping black men when stuff happens. I agree with that, Kai. And the judicial system has always been very sexist. They've always given women a pass. They've always spared women some type of leniency. And me working in law enforcement, being a correctional officer, I see it all the time in the jail while I work. How they allow females to get away with all kind of shit. They let female inmates, they always give them a pass, to give them a slap on the wrist. But when it comes to the male inmates, the men, once they have any disciplinary issues with the men, they nail them to the cross, but these females, it's always been like that. And it's gotten to the point now where that black women are becoming more and more dangerous and just as relentless as men who are criminals, who commit crimes. And that's why, I want to be careful when I say this, but that's why some brothers, y'all got to be mindful how y'all come after these sisters, because these sisters now, they're not as feminine as they used to be. They're trying to overly masculinate. They're trying to overly dominate men to the point to where if they're feeling disrespected, they shooting, they killing. I see it all the time. I cannot, if I could count on my fingers how many female murderers are in the correctional facility where I work at. You have so many black women under the ages of not even damn 17 years old yet. And the prison where I work, we have a high population of black women that are incarcerated for murder offenses. And a lot of these offenses that they have committed it with other men. Or other black women. I see it all the time. We have a lot of women in my facility that's got some heavy charges, and we ain't talking about no theft or no domestic violence. It's women that in my facility that are in there for murdering and killing. And believe it or not, a lot of these women killed other black men. A lot of women in my prison have killed other black men. So do not underestimate these black women and figure you could get out of pocket with them, disrespect them, and say what you want to say, because you could be challenging one that's mentally ill. You could be challenging a black female that has no morals, no care for life. I see a lot of that where I work at. I see these young black women who come in there like they got a petty charge for stealing out a damn a grocery store, and they're in there for murder. I have a young woman now. She's only 23 years old. She caused a black man to be murdered. She set him up to be robbed. She asked him for a ride, and dude being, I guess being a gentleman, he gave her a ride somewhere. She got him there, set him up to get killed. You know what I mean? And she has 2 murder charges. That ain't the first black man she set up to get killed. You know what I mean? And this is a female in my facility. And when I say she looks like a little girl, she looks like she's 12 years old. She's very petite, very tiny. She's 24, but she looks like she's 13. And she's in there for 2 murder charges. So don't underestimate these broads and think, oh, they just broads. They ain't got no balls, because they got balls like no other. I've seen it. You know what I mean? So, you have to be very mindful. But back to this thing about friendship with black women. Like I stated, this one young woman, unfortunately, Miss Johnson, who was murdered by her friend, who has not been named as of yet. This was the same broad that was close to her. And from the reports that I have read, these two had a rocky friendship. It's been a lot of arguing. It's been a lot of disrespect. And I would tell any black woman that's in a friendship with another black woman, once you have a friendship and it's becoming very toxic, somebody gonna have to be woman enough and jump ship from that friendship. Yup, wolf in sheep's clothing. It never should get to the point to where you and another female, y'all are arguing like y'all in a lesbian relationship. But before I find myself in a situation in which I'm constantly arguing with a broad over some bullshit and we supposed to be friends, I'm arguing with you about all kind of petty stuff, you're acting more like you're my woman than my friend, I'm gonna cut you off anyway. And I've been in friendships like that where, honestly, and some of my sisters in here, y'all make her relate. Maybe you've been there, maybe you haven't, but I've been in friendship. I'm gonna be honest, some of these black women, they can act kind of possessive when it comes to friendship. I've been in a friendship before where I had a broad who would get attitude because I would not pick up the phone when she called. I didn't want to talk. You know what I mean? I had my days when I just didn't want to be bothered. I didn't want to hear all that whining about me and my man broke up or blah, blah, blah. 9 times out of 10, because it's the same bull crap they always call you about. And she became very possessive of me. I've had that happen to me 3 times to where, my sister, yeah. That's what I'm saying. I know I ain't the only sister who has experienced that, where these females can get very possessive. Oh, hell no, Era. I'm strictly dickly. I got nothing to do with the alphabet community, but I don't roll like that. If it don't have a scrotum sack, y'all can keep that. I don't know the sisters who, like to double in the little kitty litter, but I don't roll like that. But honestly, I've had 3 females that tried me like that. They were very possessive of me in a friendship, where I felt like I was in a lesbian relationship instead of a friendship. She'll call my phone, hey, where you been at all day? Oh, I got you, Era. Nothing but love, Era. I feel you. So, some of these broads, they get possessive. Why you ain't pick up your phone? I've been calling you all day. Oh, you ain't got time to talk to me now? You have some black women that are very possessive in friendship. To me, that shit is a turnoff. Where you been at? Oh, you can't talk to nobody now? Why is you acting like you my man? It gets to a point where a female in friendship is acting like y'all in a lesbian relationship. She needs to know your whereabouts. She needs to know why you ain't picking up your phone. She needs to know why she ain't heard from you. What's up, queen? She needs to know why she ain't heard from you. She needs to know why you ain't picking up your... That's already a bad sign of a toxic ass friendship. No woman should be keeping up with another grown ass woman that much. But I've been in a situation like that. And because during that current time, I couldn't see her for who she was, because me being a Scorpio that I am, Scorpios, we have the tendency, we want to see the good in people. You get what I'm saying? And sometimes, you know, people can misconstrue a person being really caring versus a person being really possessive of you, and they both not one and the same. So for this female, like I said, to go this far and kill this woman, she evidently thought she owned her. Because once a person is, it's kind of like leaving a toxic, abusive relationship. And you know, you have that abusive ass dude that knows now he has lost control because you have taken matters in your own hands. You have left that abusive marriage or that abusive relationship. And one thing about a person that's really abusive, when you leave them, they try to kill you. Because you have to realize you have given this person the upper hand and having so much control for so long, and for you to just strip them of that, for you to pull a rug up under their foot and you snatch that control from them, it discombobulates an abusive person. When you own back, when you take ownership of your own life and you take control from them, they can't handle it. An abuser will kill you. They cannot handle you taking control back, especially when you allowed them to have control for so long. You let somebody control you for 5-6 years, and all of a sudden you don't woke up and smelled the damn coffee, and you said, today's the day. I'm not going to deal with this. I'm not going to tolerate this and allow this abuse. Today is the day. I'm out. Notice how most women get killed when they finally make that decision to leave an abusive friend relationship. That is the same way with these friendships. Some of these females, they cannot handle when you don't want to be goddamn friends with them no more. They get real petty. And some of these females get so possessive with you to the point they get obsessed with you. They will have people thinking y'all was in a lesbian relationship. It happened to me a couple of times. I became friends with a particular female that was older than me. And I remember me and her, we met at the mall, you know, and I think she was working in like one of those little boutiques called Claire's or something like that. And I remember I was in that store and I was like getting some earrings or something like that. And she seen me, you know, getting a pair of earrings, and she said, "Oh, I like those are cute, blah, 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 this and that." And me and her just ended up like kind of like talking right off the bat. You know what I mean? Now that's another sign. Sometimes females, you got to be mindful of females that's too anxious to try to befriend you. I don't like overly friendly. How can I say it? I don't like for people to force friendship. It got to be natural. I have to naturally click with a female. I don't like when a female tries too hard to be my friend, because I'm automatically going to feel like you got a motive. I'm automatically going to feel like you got something up on your sleeve. But keep in mind, at that time, I was like 17 years old. So I didn't look at it that way. You know, you got to look at how a 17-year-old would think. But she was just a little too like friendly, you know. So what you be doing? You go anywhere? What clubs you go to? You know, I don't like fucking forced vibes. You know what I mean? To me, it's artificial. I have to naturally vibe with you. I don't like nobody forcing friendship at all. I have an issue with that. So she was, you know, like I said, you know, it was like a forced vibe, but at the time I felt like, okay, she's cool. You know what I'm saying? So we ended up, you know, being friends and stuff like that. In initial beginning, like a relationship, everything was cool. We going to the clubs together. You know, we going to parties together. You know, I'm coming to her crib, chilling. You know, we watching movies. You know, we just, you know, chilling. You know, just being friends. And over time, you know, there was things that I started noticing. And that's the thing a lot of women have to be mindful of, it's never good to it's not good to spend too much excessive time with another female. You have to give each other that space and friendship, that calling each other every goddamn day, that hanging out every goddamn day, that you will eventually get on each other's nerves. You will eventually bump and clash. Now, keep in mind, all right, over time, I started seeing things that was just not quite right. Now, keep in mind, she's older than me. At the time, I'm like 18 and she's 24. So, I would just kind of notice, when we would go out sometimes, we go to the clubs and stuff like that, you know, little things she would do just wasn't sitting well with me. I noticed how her demeanor would change when she would get around certain dudes. And I cannot stand women who do that shit. When men come around, their whole demeanor just changes when they're in the presence of a penis. And she was a very attention-seeking type of female. And those are the type of females that, as a black woman, I recommend you stay away from attention-seeking females. I don't deal with attention-seeking females who have to have the spotlight on them at all times, because what usually happens with attention-seeking females, you know, they want the spotlight to always be on them at all times. Like the one who start acting funny when you get a man, or once they come deeper into your life, they start comparing their lives. Yes, yes. And black women, we are the biggest candidates of that comparison. Now, keep in mind, like my success says, yeah, red flags, 1824. At the time, not understanding, her life was totally different from my life. She had already been a single mom. She already had 2 kids. Neither one of the baby daddies was really active. She was, you know, staying at housing, you know what I mean? You know, she was in a different level of struggle. Now, me at the time, I'm 18, I'm living with my parents. I don't have no kids. I don't have the responsibilities. I don't have the burdens that she got. But at the time, not understanding that sometimes as a black woman, you have to be very mindful of what space you meet another black woman in. If sometimes if you're befriending a black woman and she's in a space of struggle and you're not, it's pretty risky, due to the fact that she's automatically, it's going to come a point where it's going to be times she's going to feel some type of way about you, because your levels of struggle ain't nothing like hers. You know, me, I was in a stage of my life, like I said, I didn't have no kids. I was able to come and go as I wanted. I was still young. By then, she had already hit the wall. Okay, like I said, she was 24, a mother of 2, living in housing, you know what I mean? You know, womb hustling, you know, whatever you want to call it. Her struggle was different from mine, you know, and you have to be very mindful that if you decide to connect with other females or build a friendship with other females, it's better to deal with females who are pretty much on your level. You don't want to, for instance, you can't be a single female where you're able to travel, come and go as much as you please, do what you want, and be friends with the single mom who got 5, 6 goddamn kids and none of her baby daddies give a shit about her, because, you know, eventually something's going to happen and she's going to hate that you don't have the same levels of struggles that she got. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be at times where you're going to want to plan a trip. Yeah, girl, let's go plan a trip. Let's go out of town. She's not going to be able to do that because her baby daddies, you know, they ain't trying to get the kids for her to go away with you for the weekend. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be very careful. You can't be friends with certain females that's in a certain, that's going through a certain type of struggle. Because eventually the friendship is going to become turbulent, because it's going to be shit that you can do that she can't do. Or also, if you're an independent woman, you make good money. You got a good job. She ain't got a job. She up here waiting on child support. She up here waiting on, she hustling and seeing that you can do stuff that she can't do. Eventually, jealousy is some point in time is going to infiltrate that friendship. So you got to be very careful with that. So anyway, like I said, I just started noticing stuff about this broad. You know what I mean? When men would come around, she would act different. You know, especially when she get her drink on. At that time, I wasn't much of a drinker, but she was. And what I would notice is a couple of times when she would get drunk, she would be really kind of disrespectful to me. Now, keep in mind, I was going through a stage in my life when I was rebelling. I wasn't listening to my parents. I was being hard-headed, thinking I knew every goddamn thing. So I moved out of my parents' house and moved in with her. Worst mistake I ever could have made. Worst mistake I ever could have made. Moved in with her thinking, okay, now I can pretty much do what I want to do. I'm not up under my parents' roof no more. You know, we was like roommates. That was the worst mistake that could have possibly happened, because that is when I really started to see her for who she was. And it would be simple things. That's why as a woman, you got to pay attention to little shady snake shit that these females do. It's not even so much the big things, it's the little things. You got to pay attention to the little slick shade. Pay attention to how she acts when she's around other dudes. It's the little shit. It's the little stuff. No, you don't have to wait for something big to see somebody's true colors. You pay attention to the little things. For instance, she was one of those type of females. She was very promiscuous. Very promiscuous. And at that point in time, she didn't feel like she was promiscuous. She felt like she was, quote unquote, exploring her sexuality, which is something a lot of whores convince themselves of doing. They don't think they're whorish. They're just thinking, oh, I'm exploring my sexuality. And no, you're not exploring your sexuality. You're being a whore. But at that time, that's how she felt. She was very promiscuous. She was the type of female, she didn't have a whole lot going for herself. So she used her body to try to lure men in, to try to manipulate men. She felt like that was the only weapon she had, because again, she was a single mother. She didn't have a whole lot going for herself. So that is what she used. So a couple of times when we would go out, she would meet a guy and she would be like, we could all get together, bring your friend over, because I got a friend, this and that. And, she would, we'd have the guys come over and hang out with us. And, she would let this dude smash like that same night. You know what I mean? And she constantly did this. She would pick up dudes from the bar, didn't even know them from Adam, bring them to her Section 8 apartment and be smashing them, and couldn't understand why the very next day, you know what I'm saying, the dude didn't call in the back. They not trying to get up with her, kick it with her like that, because you're up here, you're screwing these multiple men thinking it's going to get you somewhere, and it's not going to get you anywhere. So anyway, there's a lot of shit I could say about that, but this would be a 3 or 4 hour live. This female ended up being a nightmare. The longer I lived with her, the more her true color started reflecting. She became very verbally abusive towards me, especially when she would get her drink on. And like I always tell people, there's 3 honest people you have. The most 3 honest people you have in this planet is a child, a drunk, and an angry person. Those 3 people are brutally honest. Oh yeah, 4th person, elderly people. Those are the most honest people on this planet. So whenever you say something out your mouth when you get drunk, you can't blame it on the liquor. That's how you really felt. It just took you to get that liquor courage for you to say it. So a couple of times she would notice when me and her would go out, I would get more attention than she would get. Because for one, I was younger than her. You know what I'm saying? So, and for 2, she had a color complex. Now, keep in mind, I would not say that all dark-skinned women are jealous of light-skinned women, because that would be a myth. In fact, there are some light-skinned women who have been jealous of dark-skinned women and vice versa. that was another problem she had. The fact that I was light skinned and she was dark skinned, she would bring that up a couple of times. When she brought that up and we got in an argument and she said, you think you better than me because you light skinned. That was a red flag right then that I should have exited that friendship. Because once a female has it in her mind that you think you are better than her, whether if it's because of your complexion, whether it's because you married and she not, or you got a man and she don't, or you went to college and she never did, or she has a bunch of goddamn baby daddies and you don't, exit that friendship right away. Exit that friendship right away. Once a female comes out her mouth and says, you think you better than me because you got so and so and so, don't even entertain it. Exit that friendship. Period. Point blank. When they say little smart, slick shit like that, you think you better than me because you got this, you got that. That's already, you're already a threat to her. You're already a threat. Exactly, Queen. I take stuff like that serious. Somebody tell me, you think you better? No, you threaten. It's those little key words. You got to pay attention to that. And it got so bad, like I said, to the point that the friendship became very volatile. She became more and more disrespectful because she felt like after I left my parents' house, I had nowhere to go. So she felt like she had all this control to disrespect me. And a lot of it just came from jealousy. She was really dragging me and doing a lot of underhanded stuff, you know, because she was really hating on me the whole time, you know, and I didn't see that at the time, but once I got out of the situation, I understood the reason she was threatened by me was because I was still young and I had a chance to make better choices. She knew she had already hit the wall and she was stuck with the choices that she made. Now, this is why I always tell younger women, be careful befriending older women, because some of these older women are straight natural haters due to the fact that you still got your youth. You got a chance to correct your mistakes. You got a chance. These females who done hit the wall and done already had more mileages on their vagina than a 1985 Volvo, they're upset and angry with you because you still got your youth. They have lost theirs. So that's another thing you have to be mindful of when you're calling yourself being friends with older women. Okay, so she was low-key hating on that. She was low-key hating on the fact that I didn't have the problems she had. You know what I mean? And sometimes even when a female compliments you, you have to pay attention to how they compliment you, because she said it. She said, you still young. You still got a chance to make something out of yourself. Now, she said that to me. That should have been another red flag that this female did not have my best interest in friendship. Like I said, you got to pay attention to the little stuff. When they say little things like, well, at least you got somebody. At least you got a man. I don't even have one. Well, at least you got a good job. I can't even get a job. When they start comparing, do not deal with broads who constantly and consistently compare their lives to yours. Never, ever. I don't deal with females where every time I got something, you got to compare what you got. That is a major hit. Exactly, King Ba. All that comparing, well, at least your man spend time with you. Mine don't even call me. Well, at least you got this, and at least that at least bullshit. When you have a female constantly, well, at least, you need to leave that friendship. All that comparing, because the truth of the matter is, what women have to understand is, we all, even in friendship, we're not going to be on the same level all the time. There's going to be times when you're going to be doing better than me, and I'm not doing that great, or I'm not doing that, or you're not doing that great, and I'm going to do better than you. Life is like a seesaw. One minute you're going to be up, I may be down, but real friendship, y'all supposed to support each other no matter if the other person is doing a little bit better than you for a moment. because eventually you're going to have your turn when you're going to excel and you're going to do better than her. Real friends, y'all learn to appreciate each other success. But that's something you have to be very careful of. So it got to a point, like I said, it got really bad. I ended up having to swallow my pride, and I had to call my parents back and let them know that I needed to come back home because the disrespect just came to an all-time low. So I ended up leaving that friendship, and this female was literally like stalking me. You would have thought we had a lesbian relationship. Once I stopped talking to her, I stopped taking her phone calls, I stopped dealing with her. It made her very angry. It stirred her up. Because the truth of the matter was she had an advantage. Being that she was older than me, I allowed her, in a sense, to kind of regulate the friendship. And you know, my loyalty became stupidity, put it that way. And once I removed myself from the equation and she no longer had that control, this female, she became obsessed with me. She became obsessed, calling me, stalking me. At the time I was working at a certain job. I was working at a pharmacy. She was sending her cousins in there, you know, to buy things and stuff like that, to see if I'm in there. She became really, really possessive. To the point to where it damn near scared me, because I'm like, I don't know what this bitch is gonna pull. She's doing too much, you know what I mean? So basically it got to the point where she tried to set me up to get attacked. And how I found out about it was when I was going somewhere, and there was a mutual friend of mine, of ours. The friend was really more her friend than she was my friend. And the friend pulled me aside and she said, "Look here, I don't know you from Adam, but I'm telling you, you might want to be careful." And I'm like, "Why is that?" She said, "I'm telling you, Nita done put a hit out on you. She done put a hit out on you. She already done put the word out there, you know. Next time she see you, she gonna make sure, you know what I mean, something happens to you." So me, I don't take threats lightly. I don't take threats lightly. I called my mom, told my mom what was going on, and my mom already knew about the whole situation way before it escalated. And my mom was like, "I felt in my spirit she was gonna try to kill you. I felt in my spirit." And that's why I already bought you a bus ticket. I need you to come back to Savannah, because I'm not, my vibe, I'm not feeling safe with you in Connecticut, in her hometown where she was born and raised. I feel like she has it out for you. And it was confirmed that she had a hit out on you. So when I state with this situation, I don't underestimate no bitch under any circumstances. The fact that this woman killed this other woman, I'm really not surprised, because a lot of these women are so vindictive, and a lot of them are already losers. A lot of these females are already losers. And as I stated before, a loser don't have nothing to lose. You know what I mean? So it got to that point. Yeah, it basically, that's what it was like, Era. I couldn't explain it, but that's what it was. It was like a single white female. The movie Single White Female, this female became obsessed with me. To the point, she tried to set me up to get killed. And it was by the grace of God and his covenant, somebody who I didn't even know came to me and told me that's what she was getting ready to do. I advise you definitely, if you're friends with somebody, you don't live with them. Never live with each other. So again, back to the story about this young woman who got killed. You have to realize the woman who killed her knew everything about her. And this is another problem that a lot of women have to be careful of. The more transparent you are with your personal feelings, with your personal trials and tribulations. A lot of these snake assholes out here will feed off of all your personal, intimate thoughts and everything you share with them. They capitalize off of that shit. I can't make this shit up. This is like Tommy Sotomayor would say, I can't. This really happened. She tried to set me up to get killed. So all of this because she became obsessed with me in friendship. It was not a lesbian relationship. We never had sex. We never been intimate. She just became obsessed with the fact of the friendship. And you have a lot of these sisters out here that are very obsessed, very possessive of other black women. And when they can't get you to kiss their ass anymore, they will try to do everything to destroy you. Now, that's just one case. I had a second situation in which, and a lot of y'all who've been following me for a long time, y'all probably already know about the story because y'all done heard it 1,000 times, but I'm going to mention it anyway because a couple of people who don't know about this situation. Yeah, I don't take threats lightly. You can call me a punk. I'm gonna be a punk. If a female say I'm gonna shoot you, I'm running. I'm not gonna sit there and try to challenge no bitch or no dude. I ain't trying to be Billy Badass because at the end of the day, my life is more important than my goddamn ego. And you got people out here who will call your bluff because I had a female do it to me. And when she found out that I left out of town, it destroyed her because she had already made up in her mind she was going to destroy me before I left by any means necessary. What's up, Dallas? Blessings to you. Yep, you cannot tell women all your business. They will throw it in your face. You cannot let them get too close to your family. You have to be very mindful how close you let females get close to you. Because at the end of the day, black women, we are each other's worst enemies, especially if you befriend the wrong one. Now, there was this other female, I had a similar situation. This is the reason why I do not have any female friends. I say I may have one or two, but I don't roll with a lot of females, especially black women. I don't deal with a lot of them because it is too much psychological damage that you have to deal with. What's up, Jeremy? Long time no see. So, another female that I met on my job. We both was working in a security department together. And when I first met her, I didn't really care for her aura. And that's why as women, you have the gift of intuition. Don't ignore it. If something just doesn't sit well with you when you meet a certain female, don't ignore it. You know, it's a reason for that. It's a reason, you know, you have that intuition. Don't disregard it. What's up, Joe? Blessings to you. So we both was working in the same security department together. Now, mind you, her aura to me always seemed, she gave me this vibe that she was a nasty person. I just felt she was, you know, I just felt like she just wasn't real kind. Something about her vibe, I just wasn't very pleasant. But over time, because we was working a lot together, in the same department, we ended up building a friendship in that department. And the reason we both ended up becoming close was because, for one, we worked for a company that favored a lot of the non-colored employees, if I could put it that way. The type of company we worked for was pretty racist. And we were outnumbered. And the department we was working in together, we was the only two black females who worked in that department. So in a sense, we felt like we had to kind of bond together due to the fact that we were the only black women in that department, and also because we knew that other individuals did not have our best interests. And what happened was she the supervisor who hired me when I became a security officer there, she had pulled me aside out the blue, and she was like, she needed to holler at me about something, you know, whatever. And I'm like, okay, so what's going on? And she says, well, look, between me and you know, the supervisor, he has it out for you. You know, he's trying to get you fired, you know, and again, because we're working in a white dominated company, he was trying to find any fault in me in my work performance so he could write me up and get me removed and get somebody else to take my space. And her being a black female at that particular time, and her knowing what they was trying to do, she put me on and told me, you know, this was going on. So I'm letting you know, be mindful, be careful. Now, see, this is another thing about black women that a lot of black women got to be careful of. You have some of these females, they will set you up by making it seem like they're looking out for you. This also happens. Yep. A lot of some of that happened, Queen, and I'm getting ready to go into that. So I'm glad you kind of remember the story. So some of these women, they'll do that. They will get in good with you by acting like they have your best interest, because that's what she did. She told me there was another dude on the job trying to set me up to get fired. And she was like, but don't worry, I got you. Because if he's trying to get you fired, I got a lot of shit on him too. So we gonna work together, because just like I'm a black woman, you a black woman. If they trying to target you, I know eventually they're gonna try to target me. And I was like, you right. You make a point there. What's up, Omega? Blessings to you, sir. So I'm thinking, all right, this chick, you know, that I'm thinking that's honorable of her, because I'm like, shit, she could have sat there knowing what these saltines was going to do to me all along, and she could have not said nothing. So at that time, I'm thinking, okay, you know, this broad, she all right, she cool, you know what I mean? So nevertheless, you know, it ended up being true. I found out the boss was doing some snake shit, you know what I'm saying? So what me and her did was we ended up bonding together. Now, this is another part, and a lot of you black women have to be mindful of. Do not build a friendship just because y'all both are in the same struggle together. For instance, that was the first mistake, because honestly, we didn't become friends because we genuinely liked each other. We became friends because we both was potential targets as far as getting fired off of the job. And a lot of black women have built their friendships off the fact that both of y'all share a common struggle. That should not be a reason as to why you and another black female should be friends. For instance, just because both of y'all hate the same bitch, y'all don't like the same bitch, that don't mean y'all need to be friends. And a lot of us black women, we do that a lot. A lot of y'all have built friendships off of the wrong foundation. Trauma bonding. Exactly. Queen. You killing me this morning, Queen. What's up, David Kaysen? Blessings to you. You killing me right now. Yep, Omega. Y'all dropping some jewels in here. So that's what happened. That black women, we make the fatal mistake. You only befriended somebody because y'all both got the same goddamn enemy. And I've never seen friendship like that last long. Y'all both friends because y'all both don't like the same broad. Eventually, y'all gonna fall out too. I done seen it happen all the time. Don't befriend another bitch because y'all both hate the same bitch. That's not gonna work. Worst thing you could do. Negative group thing. Don't do that. That's not how you want to earn friendship, because y'all both hate the same goddamn thing. Joe says, black people, both black women and black men, you have to be careful in the workplace. The most trouble I had in corporate America was for my own. Yo, Joe, let me tell you. Let me tell you. Look at here, look at here, look at here. Boy, look at here. Let me tell you, when I say this story gets more fucking interesting. All right, so anyhow, so we became friends based on the strength. We both knew we was targeted on that job. So what I did was I looked out for her, she looked out for me. But how we played it smart was we didn't let nobody know we was friends on the job. You know what I'm saying? Because that way, if they was trying to come after her, and they would be more comfortable doing something about it around me, and vice versa. We never let nobody know we was friends. That's the advantage we had in the workplace. So when they talked about her to me, I would tell her. And when they talked about me to her, she would tell me, and vice versa. Because nobody knew we was friends. So that's how we had the upper hand in that particular department. Because we both was looking out for each other. You feel me? So what ended up happening was, over time, she had taught me a lot of stuff about the position there that I did not know. Because keep in mind, she had been there for like 6-7 years. I'm like still a rookie. I only been there for like 2 years. So she taught me a lot of stuff. She taught me, you know, she did look out as far as teaching me a lot of shit. But at the same time, there was a lot of stuff I taught her. It wasn't always job related, but I also taught her. So the friendship was supposedly at the time a fair exchange. She taught me some stuff, I taught her some stuff, and that's how that went. So over time, as I started progressing in my work performance, because not only am I using the knowledge that she is giving me, but I've also gained a lot of knowledge on my own. So what I did was intermix what she taught me along with what I already knew. And that's how I kept progressing in my position at the job. So what ended up happening was, slowly but surely, I was outshining her in the department. Now, this doesn't mean that she wasn't doing all of what she was supposed to do. She was a very good officer. She was a very good security officer. But what hurted her, she had the knowledge, but she didn't have what I had, which was the personality. I'm the kind of person, I just have that natural aura where I just draw people to me. People just like me for whatever reason. Now, some people, they just don't like my ass straight up front. I don't know why, but that's we don't live in an imperfect world. But for the most part, that's what I had that she didn't have. She had the skills, she had the smartness, she had the abilities. She knew her shit. She knew her job very well, but she didn't have the personality. I did. I knew how to talk to people. I had that Southern hospitality. And it just natural. So a lot of the employees there, when they needed something, they would always come to me versus coming to her. You know, because she just did not have that welcoming vibe. Like I told y'all, first time I met her, she just had this like stank attitude. I felt like she was a bitch. And I told her that, you know, later on in friendship, I said, I ain't gonna lie. When I first met you, I felt like you was a bitch. You know, I told her that, you know, we laughed about it, whatever, you know. So anyway, I started standing out a little bit more than her. So what happened was, the supervisor that was over us, he ended up quitting because so much stuff was happening. They was changing shit, you know, just nitpicking. You know how some of these jobs do. They just be doing the most or whatever. So what ended up happening was, new management took over. So with the new management, they was really trying to do like a lot of BS. And one of the changes they made was we will all have to work every weekend. Now, keep in mind, before new management got there, they had it fair to where everybody would get one weekend off every other month. Okay, that's the way it's always been. We were fine with it that way. We were comfortable with it that way. That's the way it's always been. So these saltines, because I don't want to say the other word, these saltines who tried to pull some BS, gonna tell us y'all got to work every doggone weekend and this and that. And I'm like, oh no, I'm not going for that. I got a daughter, I got a husband. I'm not working no every goddamn weekend. So me and her, along with the other two security officers, we was angry about that. We was pissed off, and we was like, what the hell? It's not fair. We don't need to work no every weekend. I'm the kind of person, I'm not going to bitch about it amongst the staff. I'm going to take it to the head. So that is what I did. I went to the head. I went to the executive director, while the rest of them, they just want to talk and keep it in the house because nobody had the balls or the kahunas to go say nothing. I went to the head. I called her myself. I said, look here, Miss So-and-so. Because again, I had the type of personality where I can make people listen and I can make people reason with me. I said, Miss Amanda, with all due respect, I don't know if you know what's going on, but they put us some bull crap with the security department. And she was like, well, what's going on? What they're doing? They're trying to get us to work every weekend. And you and I know that's both not right. Either you fix it or I'm out of here. Because ain't no way in the hell these people going to sit here and tell me, now when I got family, I got to work every goddamn weekend. So she was like, okay, fine, no problem. I'll assess the situation. Let me tell y'all what the hell happened. I can't make this shit up like Tommy Sotomayor would say. So the next day I come back to work, I look at the schedule. How about they had it to where I was the only officer who would get off every weekend? While they had all the other officers working, I was the only officer who was granted the weekends. Now, keep in mind, I did not tell them that because so that they could only give me weekends off. I told them that so the whole department, my whole goal was to take the schedule back to how it was, where we altered every other weekend for everybody. I guess because I was the only one that complained, I was the only one that gave the weekends off. So could you imagine how that made her feel? Imagine how that made her feel. It made her feel some type of way. They thought it was favoritism. That's what happened to now. And honestly, it was not my fault. I'm thinking they're going to make a decision that's going to be fair for the whole department. I was the only officer they gave weekends off. So when I told my mom about it, my mom was like, "Oh boy, I'm worried about you on that, because the problem is now that it's going to make people feel some type of way." What's up, CC Rose? Yeah, that's what happened, Omega. That's exactly what happened. So I'm looking shitty, but at the same time, I'm not giving a damn because I got my weekends. So, once they found out, I guess one or two of them, they call themselves approaching her and saying, well, at least give me these days off. At least could I have these days off? Now, keep in mind, my friend at the time, her and the executive director didn't click. So, because again, like I said, she don't have the personality. So she couldn't approach her like I could. You get what I'm saying? So anyway, put all that aside. That's old stuff. So all of that, over time, I started noticing her whole demeanor. Now, this is the issue with Black women when it comes to friendship. We can only accept each other when we are on the same level of struggle. But once one of us kind of gets ahead just a little, that's when you start bumping heads. And it's sad, but as Black women, that is something we're cursed with. It's okay for us to be friends as long as we are on the same level of struggle. But as soon as one of us get ahead or progress, that's when you start bumping heads. Exactly, Jermaine. What's up, Jermaine? Blessings to you. And the same thing. I'm sure some of you men have experienced that. You know, your friend, he cool with you long as he feel like you down and out in the struggle. But once you start getting up and you making more money than him, you riding better than him, you know, he start acting funny. I'm sure this is not something just all women go through. I'm sure men, y'all have had a taste of this. Y'all have experienced it. I know my husband, him having his own roofing company, it's been times when he would get a new truck or a new vehicle. The same week he get a new vehicle, none of the guys want to come and work for him. Soon, it seemed like long as he got a little piece of truck and he pluckering, you know, he pluckering, they don't mind coming to work for him. But the 1 or 2 times he got a new car or a new truck, oh, they ain't want to work that week. I'm just saying, right? So anyway, over time, me and her started bumping because the other mistake I made was not only getting close to her on the job was the first mistake. The second thing was we hung out outside of the job. We hung out outside of the job. I cannot stress this more than enough. Do not make friends with nobody on your job. If they're on the job, you keep them there. There's nothing wrong with being friendly, but don't make friends. Period, point blank. David says, question Mocha, would the same dynamic happen in relationships where one is succeeding and your mate has a slight jealousy? Yeah. I would say that definitely. I can say that. So I think, let me tell y'all something. First of all, jealousy is natural, okay? Jealousy is natural in friendship and relationship. It's natural. At some point, of course, you know, being a woman and being a man, I'm sure all of us are proud when our significant others, you know, have been promoted, making more money, you know, because, you know, now it's a blessing for the whole family. Now y'all can travel more. Now y'all can afford more things. But at the same time, it's that little jealousy bug that'll bite you like, damn, you know, now my wife, she making more money than me. Or now my husband, he, you know, now he got this big time promotion. Now he really, you know, he really don't really need me. I think it's natural. But the problem is when you allow jealousy to consume you to the point to where you're absolutely hating on your own spouse. And not only you hating on your own spouse, but you're trying to sabotage your spouse. Now, that's when you jealousy has gotten out of hand. There's nothing wrong with being a little jealous, but when it gets to the point to where you're trying to sabotage somebody because of it, you're trying to hurt them, you're trying to make them lose their career, you're trying to make them lose their livelihood. Now you psychologically, you got something wrong with you. Jay Shine, you said jealousy really comes out at weddings. I believe that. Okay, Mr. Fate. Yeah, I've been pretty busy. Like, you know, like I said, I'm a correctional officer, so my hours are very limited. I pull 12-hour shifts. So a lot of times I sleep all day and up all night. So, you know, that's just, you know, unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time to check emails like I used to. But like I said, jealousy is a little natural. But when it gets to the point to where you hating, your jealousy turns to hate. Now you have a problem. So eventually, like I said, we started we started hanging out outside of the job, and that's when I really started seeing her for what she was. We going places, doing things. You know, she was relatively bossy towards me at times. And one thing about being a humble person, humble people, we get mistaken for being weak. Just because you're one that's always, for the most part, going with the flow, you try to comply, you try not to buck the system. I've always been a very humble person. And people such as myself that are always humble, a lot of times we get mistaken for being weak, when that's far from the truth. Just because you're a humble person, it doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you soft. And I truly believe my humbleness made her think that I was a pushover, because it was a lot of, like I said, low-key disrespectful things she used to do, and I wouldn't call out on it. Like for instance, there was this time we all call ourselves doing a girls' night, going out of town. We all had agreed to rent a room together so we can just, you know, chill out, hang out for the weekend. Well, when we got out of town and it was time to pay for the room, we all paid our share, but what happened was we didn't know that parking was a separate fee, and she didn't have the money for the parking. So she asked me and the other girl if we could go ahead and cover the parking, and she'll just pay us back when we get back in town. All right, cool, no problem. We get back in town, she didn't give us our money back. And mind you, we all work for the same company, so we all know when we get paid. It took her 2-3 days to pay us back. So I had to run her down and say, look, hey, what happened to the $60 that you owed me and her? Because she acted like she wasn't going to give it back. So that was one thing. And like I said, it was, I can give y'all a bunch of examples all goddamn day, but it's a waste of energy. She had proven to me over and over and over that she did not respect me as a person. It was just too much disrespect. She was inconsiderate several occasions, you know, and I could say she was kind of like a bully. You know, some of these females, you get in a friendship with you, they try to bully you. You know, they try to handle you and have their way with you. You know, it would be times I would reach out to her and ask her for advice about something, because that's what friends would do. And she would try to bully me just through giving advice. Well, you should have done this, and why you ain't do that? That was stupid of you not to do. I mean, this woman was crazy. I'm like, what the hell is going on? This friendship, this woman was proving more and more day by day how beastie she was, you know. And she was just being really controlling. And I think at that time the reason why I was tolerating it, because for one, I was trying to wonder, is this bitch really, is she really like this? I guess I was in shock. I was in disbelief, because when you are a good-hearted person, good-hearted people, you want to see the good in people, no matter how fucked up they are. And that's what good-hearted people, that's where we get screwed. When you're a compassionate person, you're a loving person, you will try to see all the good in them, no matter how effed up a person really is. And that I have to take accountability. I can't put that part on her, because I want to see the good in her. So I kept letting little disrespectful, low-key disrespect stuff slide, you know. So this was the final straw. The final straw was when she invited me to her graduation dinner. I didn't want to go. She invited me. She told me that her sister was going to pay for everybody's meal. Okay? So I honestly didn't want to go, because I knew her and her sister really didn't get along that well. So I was surprised when she said that her sister was going to cover everybody and pay for everybody, because I know her and her sister didn't have a great relationship. Nevertheless, I decided to be the supportive friend I was. I said, okay, this is her graduation dinner. So I'm gonna go show my support. So on my way going, I picked up a glass of wine. Got there, we met at some seafood place called Seafood Shack. She had like 3 other girlfriends there with her. So we all sitting down, having dinner, we chilling, having a good time. And here comes the waiter bringing the bill to the damn table. Okay. So we all sitting there. And of course, as I stated, her sister was supposed to be paying for everybody to eat, right? Because that's what she texted us. Oh, y'all ain't got to worry about nothing. All y'all got to pay for is y'all drinks. My sister gonna pay for everybody. Okay, cool. We get there, the bill comes to the table. Why is it her sister magically couldn't find her damn credit card to pay for all 4 of our meals? Coincidentally. So we sitting there looking crazy. She talking about she don't know where the hell her card is at. So she done emptied her whole goddamn pocketbook on the table next to the goddamn crab legs, trying to find a card that she know her black ass probably didn't even bring. They're talking about, well, maybe you left it in your car. So one of her friends go with her to her car. They putting on this performance like they can't find a debit card. I'm like, okay, stop the shenanigans. Bitch, you ain't about to pay for none of this food. We already know that. All right. So what ended up happening was we ended up having to pay for our own food. Which, don't get me wrong, that's not a problem. But the fact that you made your guests believe you was going to pay for everybody, when if somebody wouldn't have brought their money? So this is what happens. So my friend, who supposedly I'm supposed to be cool with, when she realized her sister didn't have her card, she says, well, I need to borrow your phone. Because at the time her phone was dying. So she said she needed access to her bank. And she needed to use my phone. So I gave her my phone. So I'm thinking she's going to go on her bank app so she could transfer funds and pay for all of her guests. Now, keep in mind, she invited us to this event. We didn't beg her to come. She invited us and told us that she was going to cover everything. So she borrows my phone to transfer her funds. Why you think this helper did? She only paid for her and her sister. She ain't paid for me and the rest of her guests. So at that point, I said, okay, now I'm officially done with this friendship. I'm done. How dare you let your guests have to fend for themselves when we all sat up here? I brought you a glass of wine. Somebody brought you a nice blouse. We all came here to celebrate your accomplishment. And the fact that your sister reneged and didn't cover your guests, that's the least you could have done, was cover your guests. Me, had that been me, I would have called my husband. I would have called my uncle like, hey, I need somebody. There was no Cash App at that time. I need somebody, hey, to come down here, meet me. I got to pay for my guests. I want to put my guests in that position. But her being the inconsiderate, selfish person that I have allowed her to be throughout the years of our friendship, I realized I created a monster. Because at this point in time, she took disrespect to a whole nother level. And this is why I tell a lot of you women, when it comes to these friendships, when you give broads a pass on the little disrespect, it only gets bigger. Thanks to Torian for the $5 donation. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. When you let the little disrespect slide, it magnifies. The disrespect continues to grow. And that's what happened. So me and all her guests, you could tell her other friends, they feeling some type of way. Like, what the fuck? I mean, wow. You know what I mean? But the bill had to be paid for. So we didn't have time to argue and go back and forth. We had to go ahead and pay my bill, which I had no problem with it because I always bring my own money. I don't depend on nobody to cover me. I always bring my own money. Unless I'm out with my husband, I already know I ain't got to worry about nothing. But when it comes to other people, I always bring my own money. So we get out to the parking lot. You not even bothered. You not even embarrassed that your sister left all your guests hanging. And the only thing what she could do was give her this dry ass apology. Talk about, my bad. I'm sorry I disappointed y'all and I ain't had my card. Bitch, you knew you ain't had that card when you came there. Who's you playing with? And the fact that she borrowed my phone only to pay for her sister to eat, oh, hell nah. At this point, I was done, right? So even still, I'm giving her benefit of the doubt because I'm thinking at the time, maybe she's too embarrassed. So I'm thinking eventually when we go back to work, maybe she'll talk more to me about it. Because I'm like, this ain't the time, this ain't the place. A lot of other people around. I'll talk with her later on it. Now, mind you, that night, you didn't even call to check on me to make sure I made it home. None of that. Cool. Okay. So 2 days later, when you came back to work, I'm hoping that you at least say something about that incident. You come back to work because mind you work in the same department. She didn't say a word about it. She didn't even bring it up. She didn't say anything about what happened. So now I'm triple feeling some type of way. Because you won't even play it off and be like, girl, I'm so embarrassed that happened. But you know what? Here, I brought you a cup of coffee. Oh, here. I'm gonna take you out to lunch next week. You did not try to do anything to correct that problem. In fact, you wouldn't even acknowledge the problem. Okay, so that's fine, cool. So at this point, I said, you know what? I had to accept the fact. I said, I'm done. I'm done with this broad. I'm done. She has no respect for me. She has no respect for our friendship. I'm the only one being loyal. I'm the only one being thoughtful. I'm done with this. So I stopped dealing with her. So when I stopped dealing with her, it started making her feel some type of way. Because when she would come to work, I wouldn't talk with her. I wasn't the way I used to be. And it rubbed her wrong that I wasn't being fake, because I'm not going to be fake about this no more. I'm not going to sit up here and act like what you do ain't nothing wrong with it. I'm not playing this game. I don't play this game with you too long. I'm done. So she automatically gets upset. And as always, like a lot of females do, they love to go to Facebook and use Facebook as their diary. That's true, Joe. When a man is petty, it shows that he's feminine in his behavior and ways. Joe, you ain't never lying, because I'm seeing a lot of that on social media. I'm seeing more and more men acting like women, getting petty, going back and forth, arguing. But at the same time, we supposed to respect their red pill. We supposed to respect their masculine. But they are acting just like the black women that they are complaining about. They are argumentative. They want to argue. They want to rant and rave about women all day long. It's getting more and more out of hand. I'm starting to see a lot of feminine ways in a lot of these dudes. You see, kicking some facts, Joe. So she basically started showing her true colors once I stopped dealing with her. So it got to a point to where that's my train of thought. But it got to a point to where it got worse. And long story short, so because I don't want to go into all the details, but what ended up happening was she got so angry. Oh, this the part. Facebook. That's why I left her back. A lot of women do not know that putting all your feelings on Facebook or social media is not good, because it gives the person an advantage in knowing what's on your mind. She goes on Facebook and says and types, "Never bite the hand that feeds you." That's what she posts on her Facebook. So at that point in time, I knew she was referring to me. when she made that statement. Because keep in mind, like I told y'all earlier, when I first got there, she taught me a lot of stuff. So in her mind now, she feels like she made me. She feels like had it not been for her, I wouldn't have been who I was. She wants to take all the credit for how I have progressed. So to me, I took that as a threat. When she posted, never bite the hand that feeds you. I come to work. True story. 2 days later, I kind of felt like she was going to pull something. Because it was a subliminal message, but I knew that message was pertaining to me. I get to work. It's going on 2:30, 3 o'clock. I get HR and my director. Both of them are coming inside the security booth where I work. Now, everybody knows whenever you have the HR person and your director, that's not a good sign. Somebody's going to get fired or they're investigating something and they need some information from you. So I found it ironic that 2 days later, after this broad posted that, here it is, HR and the director is entering my office. So HR comes in and says, how you doing, so and so and so? Just the fact that she was so friendly, I knew some bullshit was getting ready to come behind it. I just felt it. I said, I'm good. What's going on? Well, it's been brought to our attention that you have been falsifying some documentation. Now, keep in mind, the only person who ever knew of this was her. And this is what they meant by falsifying documentation. Me and her both was getting Medicaid for our children at the time because the insurance on the job was too expensive. And Medicaid is just free insurance. So me and her both helped each other make fake check stubs. Okay? Which meant all we did was change the income on our check stubs. Okay? I taught her how to do that, and we both did it together. That was our little hustling thing that we had in our friendship. As I tell you, you're gonna rob the bank, you rob the bank by your damn self, don't bring nobody with you. So once they produced this receipt to me showing a check stub I made, keep in mind that was a check stub I gave to her. So I knew where it came from. In other words, this broad got so burnt about me not wanting to have nothing to do with her. Instead of her taking the L and moving on with her life, she's going to take something very personal and private that I shared with her and used it against me. And here it is. Now I'm getting terminated for it. So they told me at that point in time, they found it on my computer, on the computer. Now, keep in mind, me and her both use the same computer. So she set it up because I emailed that to her like she emailed one to me. She set it up and made it seem like I actually falsified a check stub on the job. And that is what they used against me. So they told me because of that, they was going to have to let me go and terminate me. So I got fired that same day after she had already posted on Facebook that subliminal message. So once they had fired me and told me that I was gonna have to get my things and leave, usually when a security officer is fired, they're supposed to escort you to your vehicle and escort you off the campus. So the only thing I told them, I said, well, being that y'all going to terminate me, the only thing I ask is that y'all let me leave my job with my dignity. Do not escort me to my car. Do not follow me to my car. Let me get my own car and I will leave here gracefully. Because I knew what these saltines was expecting. They was expecting for me to get niggerish. They was expecting for me to cuss, fly off out the handle, go off, be the typical black woman that y'all are used to us being. And that was the last thing I was going to do. I was not going to leave there acting ratchet. I said, just let me get my shit, but don't follow me. Let me leave my job with my dignity and grace. And they was like, okay, fine, no problem. Usually we escort people, but we're not going to escort you. We're going to let you get your own stuff. And then, you know, we wish you the best on your endeavors. So I'm walking in my car and I could barely, my nerves is just flabbergasted because I knew she had everything to do with this. And it was all because, not because I did something to her. It was because I no longer wanted anything to do with her. And she couldn't take that L. So she just meant that she was going to destroy me because I didn't want the friendship anymore. So I went to my car, unlocked it, you know, pulled back up to the gate, made sure I emptied my locker, took everything out of it, blah, and left, and, you know, told them, you know, thank y'all for the 3 years that I was allowed to have here. And that's what's that. So I left. And once I left the job, I called my husband, told him what happened, told him I had got fired from my job. You know, he was like, all right, it's cool. Don't worry about it. You know, I'm gonna hold it down, make sure we good. Called my mom, told my mom, you know, what happened. My mom knew exactly where it came from. My mom was like, I knew she did it. I knew she did that to you. So, at this point in time, leaving my job, you know, after accepting the realization that, I no longer have my job. Now I got to find another way where I can survive because I got this car note and all this other expenses I got going on, even though I know my husband got everything, but still I like making my own money. So at this point, my pride is shot. You know, my ego is bruised. And of course, I go on her Facebook page. Do you not realize this bitch put laughing emojis? So she knew I got fired. She knew the word got back to her way before I even left the damn plant. And how I knew it was her, because all her friends commented up under Facebook and said, yep, that's what she get. That's what she get for trying you. Her friends up there co-signing with her, not even realizing what she did to me. Exactly. So, as the saying goes, karma has everybody's ass dressed. So, when I got home, and I had simmered down for a couple of days, it dawned on me, okay, she sent them one of my check stubs, but she forgot she sent me one. She forgot she sent me one. So what you think happened? And the only thing I will say is she got fired the very next day. She been there 15 years and lost her job. I was only there 4 years. So who lost more? She got fired the very next day. And when they fired her, they didn't escort me off the premises, but they escorted her off of the premises. So everybody saw her get fired. Nobody knew I got fired. Everybody just assumed I had quit. But she actually, everybody had got to witness her failure. Everybody got to witness her termination. Nobody got to witness mine. And see, that's why you have to be careful with how you do people, because you have what's called karma. Anything you put out there, you're going to get it back. If you put out good, you'll get back good. You put out bad, you get back bad. And I tell you one thing, them posters on Facebook changed much different when she got fired. Now you want to put up Bible scriptures. Really? You wasn't seeking the Lord when you got me fired. And that's what ended up happening. All of that over pure jealousy. And that's why I stated with this woman here who got shot in the head by her frenemy, shit like this goes on every damn day. That's why women, y'all got to be careful getting close to the wrong females, because these females are ruthless. They will take your life. They will cause you to lose your job. I know females who done got mad with other females, got them put out of housing. I know females who got mad with other females who reported other income, made her lose her benefits. I don't know why people fuck with Scorpios. They always get that sting. Right. Exactly. Live like a sacral generator. Never ever. Do not trust the sting of a Scorpio. You thought I was going to sit there and take that lying down? And you made me lose my goddamn job? Oh no, you're going to lose your job too. How about that? It worked out for the good, fate, though. And really, you know, I honestly don't get pleasure out of tormenting somebody. My thing is, if you and the person ain't gonna be friends no more, just gracefully move the hell on. But you have some of these females out here, they so damn butthurt and miserable. They got to take stuff to another level. They have to damn near destroy you. And I'm sure whatever it was, whatever reason this woman had to shoot this woman in the back of her head over an argument, a misunderstanding, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be something petty. Let me tell you something. A person who can get mad at you over the most simplest bullshit, they was hating on you from the start. What's up, Lorraine? They was hating on you from the start. Yep, I find it funny how people run to the Bible scriptures to compensate for lack of character. And that's what she did. I'm like, girl, please, really? You sat up here and you turned in something very valuable and confidential that I gave you, and you used it against me knowing it was going to get me fired. But why are you going to get me fired for something you was doing? You did the same thing. It makes no sense. That's how you know you had a hater all along. They wait for something small and they want to blow it up and make a big old fiasco out of it. They've been hating. For this woman to shoot this other lady in the back of her head, she been hating on this woman. She was just waiting for this woman to slip. And the fact that she's going to execute her in a public place, she wanted to humiliate her. She wanted to kill this lady in front of everybody because she wanted to go out with a bang. And that's what I'm telling you. These black women will have no problem destroying other black women. Now, keep in mind, I'm on my job. I'm thinking I'm going to have to worry about these saltines trying to get me fired. All this time, it was my own sister, one of my own kind, who caused me to get fired. I'm up here thinking everybody else going is my enemy. I was befriending the enemy all along. And a lot of y'all as women, if you know you are in a friendship with another female that has already displayed her true colors, she has already flaked out on you, you done seen some shady shit from her, you done seen her do all kind of low, dirty, low-key stuff, and you still friends with her, you cannot get upset when she does you in, when she goes to do you in, because you see all of the signs right there. This woman is dead and gone, and her 17-year-old daughter does not have a mother. These females, they take anger to a whole nother level. Back in the day when females would get mad, all we'll do is tell each other business. Nah, they ain't doing that. They killing you, they shooting you, they jumping you, physically harming you. It's terrible. Exactly. They think they're invincible till they meet with somebody that's not going to take nothing off of them. And I discovered this has not been your first time trying females the way you do. But this time you tried the wrong one, who was not going to stand there and let you get away with it. Now, this woman is on the loose. She's on the run. I don't know how far she thinks she's going to get, but she's on the run. They're looking for her, and she's going to have to answer to killing this woman. I don't know how far she's going to get, but my thing is this. If you was that bold to kill this woman and take her away from her daughter, take her away from her family, then you need to be bold enough, be woman enough to answer to the consequences. I find it very funny how some people could be so bigoted and bold when it comes to taking matters in their own hands, but when it's time to answer to the consequences, oh, you don't want to answer. I'm going to share the screen. So as you can see, all these freaking ads, y'all. This is crazy, crazy, crazy. As you can see here, Brooklyn mom tells female assassin who gunned down her daughter in brazen execution style shooting that she's praying for her. So this is the surveillance camera. This all occurred in New York. I forgot what part of New York this occurred in, but there was a surveillance camera that was recording this whole incident as it occurred. Now, this is the victim's mother. And she says she's continuing to pray for the woman who killed her child. Now, as y'all can see here, this is the woman with the gun in her hand. This is the female. This is Miss Delia Johnson. Now, if this is not a coward-ass move, this woman didn't even see you coming. You didn't even give her a fair advantage to defend her damn self. Unbelievable. She wanted to catch this woman off guard. This woman didn't nowhere see it coming. Crown Heights. Yeah, thank y'all for telling me that. Crown Heights. Crown Heights. Make it so bad, they had just been to a funeral a couple of days ago. So, as you can see, she's out in broad open public, having no consideration for other people that's around her. Her hate for her was just that strong. That she had to go and shoot this woman in public. This woman didn't even see it coming. Now, this is the suspect that's in question. They're trying to find her. They're looking for her. She's still on the run. They don't have a name yet, but this is the woman who shot her in the back of her head. Now, what could have been that bad? What could have been so bad where she had to go this far to kill this woman? So you see her coming around, bunch of people out there, and she just shoots her. She nonchalantly. Now, if that's not evil, I don't know what the hell is. I mean, she getting out her car like she just about to buy a bag of chips from a grocery from a convenience store in front of all of these people. Like, wow, really? So this is the woman. She was 42 years old. She was killed after attending a funeral of a friend. How you end up leaving a funeral only to end up having one of your own. So, of course, people are fleeing the scene. And she casually just walks away and goes to her vehicle while the victim is laying dead on the street. This is the victim. She walking away like it's nothing. I don't know if this is a gang thing. I'm not sure what it is, but I don't think it's a gang thing because she was friends with her. She returned to her vehicle and she pulls off. This is the victim's mother. And as the mother stated, this woman was friends with her daughter. This woman used to stay the night. This woman used to eat with them. This woman was family. The worst type of betrayal is from a friend because you don't see it coming. Her self-hate was that bad. I have a theory that she was being controlled, like a get out of type thing, but in spiritual sense, she was in the passenger seat, but the driver was her demonic energy. Something is definitely not sitting well with this situation. But if anybody has any information on this young lady whereabouts, anybody that's in the Crown Heights area, anybody who knows of this woman, please, this is the time to snitch. This ain't about no street cred thing, none of that. Definitely there's a family in pain. If it was your sister, your mother, your friend, you will want somebody to report whatever information they have. So definitely, if anybody has any information, please definitely let the family know. They already got a GoFundMe for her funeral, so you know it's really bad. The woman I shot was a family friend. Her mom even lived with her too. Yep, she was a family friend. I don't know if it was over a man. I wouldn't be surprised, B-Dub. Yeah, she's definitely deceased at this point. Yeah, or she may cower it out, might want to take her own life. But very rarely do women take their own lives. Very rarely does that happen. She's gonna be a coward. I don't think she's gonna take her whole life, but I think she's gonna keep running till they catch up with her. Because she's not going to want to face the consequences. She's going to keep running from it. But this is why I, did this content to let all Black women be aware that, listen, you got a lot of sisters out here, they don't mean you well. Just because another woman is a Black woman just like you, it does not mean she has your best interest. It does not mean that she has any good intent or good deeds. You have a lot of grimy ass females out here that sees the opportunity to try to destroy another woman's life. You friends with this person, y'all breaking bread together, y'all going out together, y'all chilling, everything is good. Soon as there's a misunderstanding, a small misunderstanding, you see all of her true colors starting to come out. You see everything she is. You see all the hate. You see all the jealousy. So again, be mindful when you start seeing a person's true colors. I don't care how small it is. She's slick dissing you, saying stuff out your mouth disrespectfully. She's being inconsiderate of your feelings. Take heed of that. Small disrespect that grows into big disrespect. You have to be mindful because you got a lot of shady ass, shiesty ass broads out here. They real shiesty. You know what I'm saying? So I have had my share of shiesty females who I befriended, who I thought was cool. This is the reason why I roll solo. I don't bubble with a lot of females like I used to. I don't have any female friends. The female friends I have is probably 2 of them. I've had to detox. I had to get rid of them. I had to shut a lot of them down because they was not doing nothing but causing me extra stress. They was becoming another burden, and you have to be mindful. You see these bras for who they are. Don't keep giving them a pass. Don't keep making excuses for them. Oh, well, that's just the way she is, or she don't mean no harm by it. Don't keep making excuses for somebody that's constantly disrespecting you and trying you. But definitely my heart goes out to the Johnsons. Again, she left a 17-year-old daughter behind. This is going to be a very significant damage to the family. Their life is going to forever change behind this because it was just senseless. It's just senseless. You don't have to tolerate nobody's bullshit just because y'all friends. You don't have to keep giving y'all her people a pass. You don't have to keep excusing it or condoning it. I guarantee you, if you keep excusing bad behavior, you're going to regret it. You're going to regret it, and you're going to wish you would have shut it down and left that person alone when they first disrespected you. So anyway, y'all, again, I appreciate y'all for hanging out, here at Mocha's Cafe de Paris. Also, ladies, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Mocha's Ladies Lounge. I haven't been over there for a minute, but I'm going to be uploading some more content over there. I'm going to try to work on doing a live panel with a couple of the guys. I want to do more content on his bitter pill wars. A lot of content creators that's doing a lot of black bashing. We're going to be talking more about that. So please make sure you hit the notification bell. That way you are aware of what's going on. So anyway, y'all, I'm going to get ready to shut it down. I have to go work tonight. I'm going to have to deal with these inmates, of course. So I got to preserve my rest. Get ready for whatever I'm going to have to encounter on my shift. So, y'all, it's been a blessing. It is your girl, your diva, and knowledge. Again, to Torian, thank you for the $5 donation, y'all. Y'all be blessed. Take care. I'll holler at y'all soon. I'm out. Bye.